Hi everyone, and welcome back as I continue my review of The Prisoner in the preferential order that I view this fantastic series. Now we're going to assume at this point, with this episode, that number 6 has been in the village for over 6 months now. Definitely over. And they, the authority, want results. So here we go. A, B, and C. Number 2 gets a phone call on the big red phone. We assume, we don't actually know, we assume this is number 1. We don't know, but it is his superior. That's definitely known. So, a dangerous experiment is about to take place on number 6 as they render him unconscious and bring him to a secret laboratory. This dangerous experiment is to enter number 6's mind, to manipulate number 6's dreams. Now, they feed him footage from Madame Ongadine's parties in Paris. And so the sequence unfolds. He's there at the party, and it's very strange how this works out, but they got to let the dream run. They can introduce things to the dream, and that's exactly what they do. Number 6 meets Madame Engadine at the party in the dream, and then number 2 decides it's time to introduce A. Now, number 2 has nailed it down to A, B, and C. 3 possible candidates, you could say, that number 6 was going to sell out to before he was abducted and brought to the village. And number 2 wants to know who was he going to sell out to. So A is introduced. Now, A obviously worked with our prisoner in the dream sequence. This is a bit hard to explain, obviously. He defected, and he tries to abduct our hero in the dream sequence. It doesn't work out, so it clearly wasn't A. And number 2, pressing number 14, I want further results. Let's push on to B. And number 14 says, no, we can't do that. He's got to rest. He's got to recuperate before we move on. It's a dangerous drug. And of course, number 2's looking at that big red phone with worried eyes. So, he wakes up in the morning, he does, number 6. And he's sort of, whoa, what's going on? You can tell by his mannerism. He opens his front door. Outside is a flower seller, and look who's buying flowers. Number 14. And he recognises number 14. But how? Because he woke up briefly in his dream state in the laboratory and saw her just briefly. He then looks at his wrist. He sees he's been tampered with. A needle's been inserted. He has a chat with her, but she doesn't give anything away. So he decides to have a chat with number 2. Goes and pays him a visit. Has a very polite bit of banter with number 2. Number 2 asks number 6 to pour him out a drink, and very subtly, number 6 reveals the puncture wound on his wrist to number 2, and number 2 just sort of, oh, look at that. So obviously number 6 is very suspicious. But of course, well, we're back in the lab now. Yes, it's the evening. They've got hold of number 6 again, and the dream sequence is off again. So he's back with meeting Madame Engadine at the party. He gets a message, and the message comes from B. Now, at this point, number 6 is having a good time in the dream state, but number 14's worried that the drug will be burnt out and he could wake up. So they decide to do something risky to push the dream on. And that is, they intervene. They put words in the mouth of B, you could say. They totally manipulate the dream. And she's saying, look, I'm on the run, nothing to trade, and so on. But, and here's the but, number 6 becomes suspicious in the dream. He starts asking B questions. B cannot answer a certain question because number 2 hasn't got that piece of information, and number 6 walks away. So the dream has ended. He was not selling out to B. It's now morning. He's woken up. It's very early morning. He's discovered another mark on his wrist. Yes, they've had another go at him, and he's not happy. He wants answers, and so he decides to investigate. And he follows number 14. And he follows number 14 to a secret location, but he can't gain access. But he gets up above an air vent, gains access that way, and once number 14's been in and out of the laboratory, number 6 starts to snoop around and put everything together. It comes across the folders A, B and C. It comes across the footage of Madame Ongadine's party, cables, and whatnot, and he's starting to piece together what's been going on. And he comes across the drug. He ejects some of that into a handkerchief, a certain amount, and then he refills the syringe with water. So therefore he has now weakened that drug. So later that night, yes, here we go again. They've got hold of him and the dream sequence is running. Now this is a bit of a peculiar sequence, because they got no picture of C. They don't know who C is. So number 2's saying, look, number 6 is going to use his brains. He's going to put 2 and 2 together. And so the sequence unfolds in the dream that he plays around on the roulette table. He gets hold of a key as a winning, and he's playing around with a key in the dream sequence. And then guess who's got another key? Madame Ongadine. Now, is Madame Ongadine C? We would assume so. And number 2's ecstatic. He's over the moon. Yes, great. This is brilliant. We've finally unmasked C. But unfortunately, what happens is that number 6 collapses on the table just before walking through the door in the dream sequence to meet another mysterious person they've dubbed D. Anyway, they bring number 6 back round, they revive him, and the dream sequence continues, and number 6 in the dream says strange things like, we must not disappoint those who are watching, to the mysterious hooded figure. Now that sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? It really does. And what happens is that in the dream sequence, he, number 6, is going to unmask the hooded figure because he doesn't like secrets. And back in the lab, number 2's ecstatic. He says, nor do I. I want to see his face. And so the dream plays out. Number 6 takes the hood off the mysterious character, and the look on number 2's face, he cannot believe it. He's gone into absolute shock horror, because what's being played out on the screen when number 6 in the dream sequence spins this mysterious character around, it's number 2. Yes, number 2. And then they realise that number 6 had the upper hand in this dream. He controlled it all the way. And the dream continues with number 6 meeting number 2 in the lab, giving him the so-called papers, and they were just holiday brochures. They weren't secret papers at all. And the episode ends there with a big red phone beeping and a scared look on number 2's face. Yes. Right then, moving on to my final thoughts. So, as I said at the beginning, clearly this episode has gone over the 6 months for number 6 in the village. Whereabouts over that 6 months, we don't know, but he's definitely gone past the 6 months. And in that time, they've tried to coerce number 6. Come on, join us. It's not so bad. Work for us. And he's rebelled all the way. He's not, he's not sitting there and saying, yeah, I'll work for you. No. Not number 6. Number 6 is turning out to be a tough nut to crack. And so they now opt to extract the information out of him. Now, this is not to do with why he resigned. This is to do with number 2's research, this number 2's research, who has nailed it down. If they didn't lift the prisoner, number 6, and brought him to the village, he thinks one of these 3 people he was going to sell out to, A, B, and C. And so a dangerous experiment is underway. They get into number 6's dreams. They manipulate his dreams to get the answer if he was going to defect. And everything's going their way to start with. They get the answers for A and B. No, not in their case. But now, at this stage, number 6 is not very happy. They're doing something to him. And of course, he investigates. That leads him to the lab. That leads him to the drug. And by weakening that drug, now number 6 is turning the tables. He's taking control of his dreams. And they are not aware of that situation at all. So here we go. It's the final night. It's C. Who is C? As the dream plays out, C is revealed as Madame Ongadine. But clearly, is she really C? As this unfolds, I just love this episode. The way, they had control over number 6 in the first parts of the dream, A and B. Now the tables are turned. He's weakened that drug, so it's less effective on him. He's controlling the dream, and he's luring number 2 in all the way into the dream. He's luring him in. He's bringing him in. He's introduced another character, D. And number 2 in the lab. He's ecstatic. Wow, we've unmasked C, and now we got a D. This is great. This is fantastic. He's really over the moon. He thinks he's getting somewhere at last. He thinks he's going to get the results he wants. Unfortunately, he's not going to, is he? What happens is, as number 6 plays this dream out, gotcha, number 2, gotcha. Yep, he was in control, and that look on number 2's face says it all. It really does. Absolute shock horror. It's a stunning episode. And so we at last get a true victory for number 6. In this battle, number 6 has won, well and truly. And this number 2, Colin Gordon, the actor, this is his first appearance as number 2. He will be back as number 2 in another episode. And I'll be comparing this number 2 as he was in this one to how he acts in the next one. A, B, and C is a great episode. It really is. Number 6 has turned the tables on them, and he has done something incredible. Fantastic. A great victory for number 6. And on that note, as usual, I'll let you guess the next one. Have a great day. Be seeing you.